All right, and welcome back to episode 15 of Slightly Burned Toast, where we will be talking about another interesting topic, which I can't say apparently.
You can say it. I'm just saying that we need to build up to it, right? We can't
Conflicts. We're talking about conflicts, about how we argue and fight.
how we fight, how we brawl. I feel like
Brawl?
someone asked us a couple months ago. I don't know if you remember the person. I don't even remember the person myself, but they were like, do you fight a lot now that you live together and you're married?
That is a very personal question to ask.
I
And
feel like that person was a
yes.
friend. I can't. No. Are we having conflict right now?
I mean, we fight more than we used to before you then lived together with me.
That's because of frequency, but we don't fight though. We have
Well,
disagreements,
yeah,
but we don't
I'm
fight.
sure when she's saying like fighting, it's sort of just, do you argue? And
No, I think words are very important. And I know
you
like
think she's like, do you fight?
yeah, no,
Like-
I feel like when people say, hey, when they go to a couple and they go like, hey, do you fight? It sounds like you're screaming at each other, you're throwing stuff around. It sounds a lot more aggressive. But if you say that, you guys have more disagreements, that sounds a bit more calmer and well, not normal, but it just feels a bit more chill.
I
Like
don't
everyone
know.
has disagreements.
I guess my brain just goes to, if anybody outside of like just us just goes up to you and say, hey, do you fight more? And their impression is like, hey, are you like throwing fists or like yelling at each other? That seems like really weird.
No one talks about Fight Club. Number one rule of Fight Club. You don't
Why
talk
are you
about Fight
talking
Club.
about it right now?
I'm not talking about Fight Club.
Oh,
Okay, tell me honestly, because you guys, I feel like with this podcast, it's a really good opportunity for us to learn how to speak better. And Elbert and I were just talking about this the other day, but we do find that, everything can be a way to practice something to get better in life. And we find that we tend to ramble quite a bit, especially when we're talking to each other. We like go on tangents really, really frequently. And also we talk really slow. Because
apparently. That's the feedback we've heard,
Yeah.
which I take to heart.
Because we're thinking at the same time. So for this episode, we actually prepared a little bit more.
Yeah, so we have stuff that we want to talk about. We have a specific outline that will hopefully make us, think less, which will cut out those pauses and will just be kind of go all the time.
Yeah. Well, side note, I repost these snippets, the short snippets on YouTube, and someone commented the other day, and they were just like, she's so aggressive. And I'm like, excuse me, sir.
You are a little bit aggressive sometimes.
Like, aggressive how? Like, the way I speak? Does it, like, sound too aggressive? Or the way I respond to you? Like, what about it is aggressive? Actually, you know what? I
The
can see
look
why
in
he would
your
say
eyes. The look looks threatening. And maybe only to me because I know.
that. Maybe I need to meditate a little bit before we film these, because I find that every time we film a podcast, well, now film and record a podcast at the same time, I'm always really stressed out before, like right before we start recording.
Oh, that's
because
weird.
of like tech issues or whatever, and I just get really flustered. Is that just me? Do you
I don't
not
know.
feel?
I mean, in general, I feel like people working with technology just does not want to be around tech after a while. Which I guess this isn't technology, it's just recording, but it was just funny the way you kind of phrased it. A lot of developers that I work with are like, what's your end goal? Oh, I'm just going to buy a piece of farmland somewhere and just go fishing for the rest of my days. Hopefully no internet.
You know what? I feel that. Like, as someone who works and shares her life on social media almost every single day, it does get really draining. I try and take the weekends just for myself, and I don't really share as much on the weekends because I just need a break and a detox a little bit.
I don't know. I still have mixed feelings about social media in general.
I know. We're not going to go on a tangent on that this time.
Yeah,
Remember?
we're going to stay
Yeah,
focused on the topic, which is
Yeah.
them fighting words.
Them fighting words.
Yeah.
Okay, what are we talking about today?
I just said it, them fighting words. Gee, what the heck?
You know what would be a fun way to start this conversation?
By fighting?
No, not by fighting. I don't think we fight a lot, but okay, I'm about to go on a tangent again. Caught myself. Are you proud of me? I'm proud of me. I think a fun way to start off this conversation is we each tell each other some like certain words that we get triggered by
Trigger
that cause
words?
us, trigger words from each other that
Oh,
cause
no.
an emotional reaction that could lead to a disagreement.
That's too much thinking. Nothing comes to mind right now.
Oh, so maybe I don't say anything that triggers you. Oh, no, you know what? How about I tell you
Sure.
what I think triggers
and
you.
this is why it's like, oh, why is she so aggressive? Maybe this is why.
Well, I'm sorry. I accept parts of why someone would think that I'm aggressive when they're watching and listening to me. I think it's also because, did I already talk about this? Like, I get a little bit stressed out before I start.
Yeah, we talked
filming,
about it.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
You're probably stressed out, which is why you forgot that you talked about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do I say that triggers you? So.
No. Remember, I was going to tell you what I think I say that triggers you.
Okay, we're not doing double negatives. So you tell me what I do that triggers you.
No, but you just said that you
No. We're sticking with this. We don't do double negatives here. That gets like really confusing.
Okay. What's the question again?
What do I do or say that triggers you?
Okay.
Let's just say I know what I do that triggers you. Just tell me something that I say that triggers you.
No, you know what? I actually can't think of anything right now, but I can think of, well, since you know what you do that triggers me, and I know what I do that triggers you, so why don't we just say like that?
Sure.
Okay. I'll start first.
Okay,
what I think I do that triggers you, right? Okay, so one, whenever we talk about money, that's like one of Elbert's biggest trigger. Like, it could be honestly anything to do with money, like how much money we're going to be spending on a trip, how much money we're going to be spending on expenses, anything. You just say the word money.
I just want a budget, bro.
If it comes from my mouth, he gets so triggered. You can literally see him tense up and just be like,
Listen, we have a lot of expenses that we got to manage. So when we say, oh, money or a trip, in my mind, it's like, well, you listed off Europe, Mexico City, New York City, LA, and in my brain I'm just like, I don't have money for all these. We don't have money for all these.
Okay, no. You don't need to.
Shit.
You don't need
I'm like showing that I get triggered.
Exhibit A, Elbert in like this
triggered by money.
live moment is getting triggered by the word money. Okay, let me. Okay. How about your turn? You go next.
I actually don't know.
What? You just literally said that you know what you do that triggers me.
I know what I do.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything I say that triggers you, because everything that comes out of my mouth is just like the most amazing thing.
Well, no. But okay, it can be something that you do too. That's fine.
I think whenever I talk to you about improving your work processes, you low-key get really annoyed at me, but then you also eventually come around to the fact that I'm probably right.
My work processes.
Yeah, like how to make things more efficient with automation and stuff.
Okay.
Or like building out your Excel spreadsheet in a way that is not like a spreadsheet from hell. Like you can't organize data. It's just like color coded.
Okay,
but, like,
number one, my
nothing.
Excel sheets are not that bad.
It used to be really bad.
Okay, but now it is not that bad.
Yeah, but point in case, it used to be very bad.
Okay, I don't think that triggers me. Like I appreciate when you come in and you provide me advice with how to automate things, because I believe in that too. What I think triggers me is when you decide, like when my significant other decides to tell me what I'm doing wrong. You tend to do that when I'm already really overwhelmed and stressed out. Like you go like, how about you do this? How about you do that? And it's just too much information. And that's when I get triggered.
Well, I guess this is like a question for the guys out there, if they have a good strategy on when to actually broach these sort of subjects. Because in my mind, if it's like a quick thing that will improve your quality of life, then like earlier the better. Because it'll just be like, hey, here's a cool trick, like try this, and it will make your life easier. Or do I just sit there and just go like, oh yeah, she's struggling, I'm gonna wait until tomorrow to tell her about this?
No. Okay, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. There's so many things that Elbert does to trigger me. I just can't really.
It's also like on the spot. It's hard to think of something.
Yeah. Usually if you ask me when I'm not about to talk about it, I can think of a whole laundry list of things that you do to like trigger me.
This is all trivial shit too, by the way. Like honestly, it's not like none of them are so bad that it's
not a make or break.
My brain. Yeah. My brain's still fine. I'll still function even though you do some stuff that are very like annoying.
Yeah, you do stuff that's annoying too.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're talking about conflict today. If you guys haven't figured that out as we are currently arguing.
Yeah. So I mean, we've been together for a while, and I know a lot of people that have been in relationships for a while. You start to pick up on like little cues with their partners, right?
How long have we been together, Albert?
2014 was like when we started dating.
So how many years is that?
I don't want to do math right now. 11? Yeah, 11.
Is it?
This October it would be the 11th year.
No, it's actually this November.
No.
Wait, no. Anyway, continue.
November's when we got married for the first time. October is when we started dating. And May is when we got married the second time.
Right. Our double wedding. Yeah, that confuses me. Okay, yeah.
That was a point of contention for me. Like, I was like, financially, I was just like,
trigger.
This makes no sense.
There you go. Trigger. He's getting triggered. Anyway, continue. I cut you off.
Yeah, okay. Couples know there are significant others, just like nuances. They pick up on cues, verbal and nonverbal, when they're like really annoyed or upset. So, I guess question is like, what are some things that you pick up from me that makes it very obvious that I'm getting upset?
Oh. Albert is really, 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 really bad at masking his emotions on his face. You are the definition of oh, what is that?
An open book?
An open book. Yes. You are a definition of an open book. I just need to look at you and I know what you're feeling. Like, there is no sort of like masking whatsoever.
Oh, terrible. I've heard this feedback at work too, where there's like, Albert, you look like you want to say something. And I'm just like, no, I keep my mouth shut.
Yep. It's something that I tell, something I advise people as well is that you will meet people every single day. Sometimes you mesh with them, sometimes you don't. There's going to be conflicting opinions. But at the end of the day, like, you want to respect each other's opinion. And that sometimes also includes masking what you're feeling in that moment, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. But anyway, how I know when you're irritated is I can just see it all over your face. Like, you have this look where you're just like you just look pissed.
I can.
There's no, it's like a mixture between boredom and annoyance. Like, you have this face. I don't know, like, can you?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. Like, you look a bit sleepy and you don't really smile.
That's because sometimes I am just like getting tired.
Yeah, because you're getting triggered. I feel like that.
I don't even know if it's a trigger thing. It's just, if it's not us, like in the work setting.
Yeah.
I get like that when the discussion just doesn't, like, it's like we get stuck on a hamster wheel and they just keep going in circles and circles. I'm just like, guys, like, move on from this topic.
Oh, yeah.
Decide and move on.
Albert really hates when you repeat stuff to him.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Repetition is like the bane of my existence.
And I tell him, okay, ladies, and gents, if your significant other hates being repeated to, I tell Albert this all the time. I'm like, just because someone repeats themselves doesn't mean you have to judge them, because sometimes, things warrant repetition. Like, you need to repeat things.
So I recognize that. I'm not annoyed by every form of repetition, obviously,
Yeah.
But if someone's like, hey, we got that movie later, right? And then like 10 minutes later, they're like, don't forget to pack your stuff for that movie later. And then like 30 minutes later, they're like, hey, you got money for that movie, right? It's just like,
you tell your partner, hey, don't forget to do XYZ. They get annoyed at it, and then they forget to do XYZ because you stopped reminding them.
I don't know. Maybe it's the way it's delivered.
Okay.
Maybe it's just like, maybe one thing you got to do might be, hey, like, I trust you to handle this. Is that okay with you, or something like that?
Yeah. But there are moments where I trust you to handle it, but you still forget to do it.
Yeah. And I'm which I recognize that, for me, it's easy if I write it down or like put a reminder on my phone to like do it. If I don't, even for laundry, it's like,
how would you like me to remind you repeatedly? Oh, sweet honey baby, let me hold your hand. Oh, you're doing so good.
No, that makes me nauseous. I don't know, just like put like a note somewhere that says like, hey, like, take a look at this, or like, take care of it.
Okay, I'll put a note.
Or just make me put a notification into Google. I can just be like, hey, Google, like, put a reminder in like 4 hours.
I have. And you're always like, nah, I don't need it.
You've never used Google reminders before.
I've told you, just put a reminder in your phone if you can't remember when to do things. And you never do.
I mean, okay, realistically though, I haven't missed any like really important stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, enough about me. I can talk about some stuff that, cues where you might be upset, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Which I don't know if it's like a universal guy thing, but it's like very difficult to know when you're upset about anything significant.
Significant anyway, continue.
Like I can't tell if you're upset because you're hungry, or like if you didn't sleep enough, or if you didn't drink any water, or if I just like did something. Usually I get it from like the tension in the air, which is like very difficult to like describe to people, obviously, right? But you guys know when you're next to somebody that's like pissed off, you're just like, my muscles are all tense, like there's danger in the air.
You know, it's like when you watch a cartoon and they show just like flames, like the aura around someone just changes and aura, you can feel the tension. Yeah. That's how I imagine you would feel like when I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
The air changes because I'm on fire.
Usually there's like a quietness too. Like you kind of tend to give me the quiet treatment.
The silent treatment? You do as well.
Yeah. But for me, a lot of why I give that silent treatment is because like I'm trying to organize my thoughts about how to say something without pissing you off. Which is like very hard to do when I'm annoyed. Very hard to do,
yeah. Well, ladies, you know this because we have something called the menstrual cycle. And there's just periods in that cycle where you feel like $1,000,000 and then periods in that cycle where every single thing you do irritates the shit out of you.
Yeah, and I gotta say, as a dude, I fully respect you ladies for having to deal with this crap like every single month, but thank God that we don't have to. And I think if there's ever like any of the younger generations that are not familiar listening, you gotta give women props for dealing with this.
Thank you.
Fucking like chaotic emotional roller coaster that goes up and down.
It's just one of those things where you shouldn't be pissed off, but it just does. It just pisses you off.
It just does. Like sometimes it do be like that.
Sometimes it do be like that. Sometimes Elbert will be standing in the room and he's just literally just existing, and I look at him and I'm like.
I mean, that's a bit extreme. In general, I recognize those moments. I just leave. I'll just remove myself from the situation. But yeah. Anyway, today, like we're talking about the way that we recognize each other's kind of tension points. But I guess the next big question really is like, how do we deal with those conflicts when they arise? Because we have a lot of disagreements.
Yeah.
They're not like major disagreements, but obviously in a relationship, you're going to have disagreements and you try and compromise or just agree that you're a different person than I am.
Yeah.
Right. And then just like find a way forward with it. But
yeah. And I think that's a really important part of a relationship is understanding how each individual person gets triggered, like what they get triggered by, but also how they prefer to deal with conflict. Because I guess I can share growing up. Well, actually, I don't want to share too many details, but what I can share is that when I watch my friends who are in relationships, in volatile relationships, and how they deal with conflict and what you're shown in media as well, there's many different types of ways that couples deal with conflicts really based on their own personalities and their dynamics. But in my opinion, one of the unhealthiest ways of dealing with conflict that I've seen in my friends' relationships is a lot of screaming.
Throwing fists.
Yeah, no, literally Fight Club.
That's abuse. If that's happening, please like get yourself out of that situation.
Yeah, it's just like lots of screaming, lots of throwing stuff, just really erratic behavior. That's what I constitute as a fight. Whereas for us, like I feel we've never ever in the 11 years that we've been together been in an argument where we're yelling at each other and we've never thrown anything at each other ever.
Maybe that comes with like a certain level of maturity and understanding that like I recognize you as a different person and vice versa. And so a lot of when we enter this agreement, it becomes a conversation. Although sometimes there's been like tense conversations.
Well, we would never scream or throw stuff at each other.
Because I don't have the energy for that anyway.
But also I feel like if it ever got to that point, I would be so shell-shocked that it was happening that I would just really, I don't know what I would do actually. Like if you ever threw something at me, I think I would just look at you and start crying and then I would just exit. Like I would leave the room.
I think a key factor for me is that I know, or at least it's never happened, but I know that if that ever does happen, I trust myself enough to respect myself enough to just like say, fuck this, I'm out. Like, I'm not dealing with it. Right? Like, if it ever gets that bad.
Right.
Obviously, if it's like you've been in a relationship for a while and it got that bad and you still want to like try and figure out what led to that point, that's like a whole other thing. But
the reality of it is that just because that's the way we deal with conflict, it doesn't mean that other couples deal with conflict the same way. Like, everyone deals with conflict differently. Right?
Yeah. So we did some research and kind of looked at like actual scientific studies that talked about different ways to deal with conflict.
Let's be real. Let's be real here. You use ChatGPT.
No, I actually read the articles that it recommended. Yeah, did you not read them? I sent them to you last week.
No.
Oh my god.
I didn't know we were supposed to read them.
You never blindly trust a machine spitting information at you.
Okay. Oh, well, thank you for reading them. So, what did you find in those studies?
The usual stuff that we learned in psychology.
Okay, but not everyone went through psychology class, so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the big one that people always talk about is actually listening, right? Like, how well you define yourself as a listener and how you perceive your partner to be a good listener will allow you to deal with conflicts a lot better.
Okay, so is that the number one
That's the
tip?
number one thing, is that like when you listen, it's not just listening to words coming out. It's kind of like you're reading between the lines and understanding like what they're saying and understanding why you feel that you're reacting to a certain way to like when you hear it.
Sorry, I'm confused. So it's the number one tip on how to deal or like how to fight, basically?
I think it's more like this is the number one skill that people say is crucial in handling a conflict in a relationship well.
Oh, interesting. Okay, listening.
Yeah.
I believe that. Also, fun fact, do you know that my name means listener? That's what my mother always says.
That's not what Urban Dictionary said.
What does the Urban Dictionary say?
Something about like a freak in a bedsheet and like could be either sweet as pie or like poisonous as a snack.
As a snack?
I don't say the actual word because Sam doesn't like that animal.
I do. I hate that animal. But thank you very much. That was very thoughtful of you not to say. But yes, my name equals listener because apparently my parents wanted me to listen, and I do listen.
Wow.
But side tangent aside, I believe that. I think it's very important to listen to each other and to feel like you're being listened to, right? I think there is a difference between someone pretending to listen to you and you actually feeling heard by that person.
Yeah. I think the key thing too is that you go into an argument and you don't think your partner is actually able to listen to what you're saying. Then you don't want to continue that conversation. It's just dead in the water, right? Like, so this is definitely a two-way road thing where you kind of have to recognize that it's a separate person that is not you that you're talking to. And so, you know, there's something that you're disagreeing on. You kind of need to listen and understand and then come to a consensus on how you want to move forward with it.
Yeah. There's something called active listening too. And I remember that term from my psychology class when they were mixing together active listening as well as paraphrasing as a way to show that you're actively listening to somebody. So say we were fighting and your partner goes like, hey, I really hate that you didn't do this, like do the dishes for me, and made me really upset. And what we would do in that psychology class is go like, okay, I hear you. What you're trying to say is that you feel really upset because I didn't do this. So basically you're repeating what the other person's saying so that they feel that you actually are listening and you're understanding what they're trying to say. And then that also gives an opportunity for them to say, no, that's not like what I meant. Like it gives them an opportunity to correct you if you're not really understanding what they're trying to say.
Yeah, which is really important because in general, I would say people are very, very poor communicators.
Yeah.
And that is doubly more so when you're upset. Right? Like when you're annoyed by something, it's very hard to get your point across in a way that is rational.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
Which is why I try and like walk away for a bit and come back if like things get too heated.
Yeah.
Which is something we'll talk about later on too.
Okay.
As, like, one of the
so
strategies.
actually, I'm curious. What are the top 5? Since listening is number 1, what are the rest of the tips?
Okay. So this is, I'm just gonna like hold this up, right? So this is from like a like family therapy study that they've kind of looked at for couples married 40 years and longer. So this is a qualitative study, right? So there's no, X will lead to Y. It's just like you have an interview and you figure out, okay, like, did this work or not, kind of deal. You get a bunch of data and then say, okay, well, this is what we found. So like there's nothing in here that says that there's like a magic bullet to like solve all your problems. But interestingly enough, like top 5 that comes from this study is that one is the listening part, is whether you yourself think you're a good listener and perceive your partner to be a good listener. The second one, which is kind of funny, is actually actively avoiding the confrontation.
Really?
Kind of like if you can't confront the person about it, then you won't have the argument.
Oh, interesting.
Which, I don't know. I think these are just strategies that couples that have been together for 40 plus years have done, right?
Okay, so these are not necessarily the best tips to deal with conflict.
No. This is just how they dealt with like the conflicts. And one was just being like, we're not dealing with this.
So you're avoiding. Oh, I don't know if I agree with that, but I guess if they're still married for 40 years, then
I mean, who knows? Like, it might not have been a happy marriage.
Oh, that's true.
No one has.
Yeah.
And the third one is communicating well. So I assume that just means like how well do you get your point across, right, in an argument. And then compromise, right? And so you just agree that you might not come to an agreement that makes everyone happy, but you meet in the middle. And then the other one was resolving quickly. And I think that one in particular was pointed out as don't like hold it in for too long. Just deal with it and just like get it out there and then have a discussion. And then, because we got to admit though, right? Like, when you hold in a problem that you have in a relationship, it just gets worse and worse, and it's just eating away at you. The other person will have no idea what's happening.
Right. It just festers and builds. And that's something that I really strongly believe in, and that's something that we try and practice in our relationship as well, is that unfortunately, when you're married and you live so closely with someone, you share your life together, there's going to be a lot of moments where you don't agree on things. Like, it's not perfect. Like, it's not like a Disney fairy tale. You're not just going to live happily ever after you. Okay, sir. Let's take that ego down a notch. But we have a lot of conversations that are uncomfortable during periods of time where you're like, you kind of feel bad that you bring up something to ruin the mood of the day, but you kind of have to, because if not, a small problem is just going to keep growing and compounding and festering until it gets to a point where there's a lot of resentment.
Yeah.
And when you have resentment towards each other, I think that's even worse, and it's harder to get over that and to heal that than just dealing with the issue when it starts.
Yeah, I agree. I think resentment is the biggest thing, is when it's a one-way resentment and the other person never understands why.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, we try and voice our issues as much as we can. Yeah. Obviously not to the point that it's annoying and every day is like an issue, but.
Yeah. And honestly, in a healthy relationship, you should feel comfortable being able to be completely yourself with your partner. And that includes the good and the bad parts of who you are, right? Or the parts where you just need to have a sounding board too.
Unless you're just insane, then like maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah, if you're crazy, then maybe you should not be in a relationship.
Okay, I mean, that's hard to say, but like maybe two crazy people would like get along really well together.
Right, yeah.
And who am I to judge and say that they're crazy? I might be insane. I don't even know.
We might be crazy.
Yeah, maybe we just live in this bubble and just think that people... Anyway.
Yeah, but
there's
because
some other strategies there. Should we move on to those?
Well, I was going to say something else before you cut me off.
Sorry.
I'm getting triggered right now.
No, I'm sorry. Go.
No, what I was just going to say is that sometimes when you bring up an issue of resentment or something that really bothers you to your partner, like the other day, your partner could just say like, hey, why are you so upset that I just didn't put the dishes away? Well, maybe it's not the dishes that triggers you. Maybe it's something that has built up, and then what broke the camel's back was the dishes, and it could be something completely different. So that's why it's important to talk about things. Why are you looking at me?
Yeah, sorry. In my head, I was just having a monologue. It's like, it's not the dishes. It's like, what is it? It's your face. It's like, shit.
I hate your face. Why can't you mask it?
I'm sorry.
Anyway, okay. So now we're looking at... Okay, you have a segment here. Honestly,
actual
you guys,
strategies.
I'm looking at this document for like maybe the first time. Anyway, thank you, husband, for doing the research. But science-backed methods of how to deal with conflict in a healthy way, right? I'm assuming that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about these methods that you can implement in your relationship or in your life, really, as healthier ways to have conflict properly, right? Because conflict is a good part of life. Like, you should have conflict with people. It's just whether it's a healthy way of dealing with it or not.
Yeah.
So first, sounds like Fight Club. Are you sure this thing didn't just pull it from Fight Club?
No.
Okay, it says set and respect fighting rules.
I mean, that's a valid, like, strategy.
Okay.
I mean, like, Fight Club, obviously, if you guys haven't seen the movie, great movie, you should go watch it. But they also had that rule where it's just like, no weapons.
Okay, so let's break it down.
You don't kill the person, you just fight.
So when you're in a relationship with somebody, it is important to set guidelines of communication. I'm assuming this is what it's talking about, right? Guidelines of communication, like how you personally like to deal with conflict and what your current conflict strategies are, so that I understand how you like to deal with conflict and you understand how I like to deal with conflict, and then we kind of find a happy medium in between.
Not quite. So this one is, so that's a whole separate thing where you kind of need to communicate and understand like how each other, deal with it. Like, for example, I know that when I get flustered, I have a very hard time articulating what I want to say. And so like, I tell you that just so that when it's not very clear, you can ask me to re-clarify, and because I've told you that, I don't take it personally. So I think there's definitely that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But this is more so like when you set the guideline and rules.
Yeah.
You are being very explicit in saying that like no swearing or yelling as part of the conversation is something that we agree on in advance. And so any future conflicts we go into, like, no one's yelling. And if we do yell, you can just be like, no screamo emo in here, and then just
like take a breath.
Yeah.
No screamo emo. Let's just like give it a few minutes and then come back.
Yeah. But like, because you set that rule in advance, now you have a, verbal contract. You could even just like write this down and sign it. But, there's some basic stuff that should go in there, right? Like, you don't need to be screaming. You don't need to be swearing. You don't need to be throwing a frying pan at like each other. Right. No play. It's like no bodily harm.
Yeah.
But it's just like kind of setting that in stone and then agreeing on it will make it easier for you to get to what's like important, which is a conversation.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do agree. I don't think we've ever sat down and made a list of conflict rules.
No,
I think it just happened naturally.
Yeah.
Also because we probably have similar temperaments. Well, not completely similar temperaments, but we do have, I don't know, like similar ways that we do like to handle conflict, which is in a very calm manner. But it's interesting that you brought about the fact that you find that you can't articulate yourself completely well when you're, I don't know, flustered or overwhelmed, or when there's a lot of emotions. And that reminds me is that one time where we were having a disagreement and you actually articulated yourself in a text message, and you're like, this is way easier for me to tell you how exactly I feel.
Yeah.
And way clearer. And for me, receiving that, it was a lot clearer for me to understand the full scope of what you were feeling.
Yeah. And I guess this is something that can be in like the rule book that you guys set between like for conflict management, right? Is that that I can't articulate myself very well when I'm heated up. So one of the rules of dealing with conflicts is that if I'm not making sense, you're allowed to ask a repetition, and we just agreed that I don't take that as a personal insult.
Right, that's true. To be fair, I don't think I articulate myself the best way when I'm emotional either. I think it also depends on the context of the conversation. But because we both have a background in psychology, I found that we started doing this very early on in a relationship without even setting ground rules, which is the way that we describe how we feel. We always focused it on ourselves instead of the other person. So as an example, instead of going, you don't know how to make me feel happy, that's why you do X, Y, and Z. And the way that we like to communicate emotions like that, we just say, I feel like you don't do this because you want me to feel X, Y, and Z. So you kind of place the blame on, or the perspective on yourself versus blaming someone else for an action that you assume they did.
Yeah, it's just like first default is, am I the problem? Like, let me self-reflect. Am I the issue here?
Yeah. And actually, to be honest, I don't know if that is helpful because we've done it so often. So I don't know if it actually is.
I would definitely argue that we didn't start off this way by default. We definitely had some moments in our conversations where we had to figure out how to communicate better.
Right.
So I think anybody going into any long-term relationship should kind of recognize that it's a different person. And so like how you communicate and deal with conflict, you can bring your past skills and experience, but you might still need to tweak it. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just like taking a look at what else is here because how interesting. It says take smart timeouts and cool down.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah? Tell me more.
I think okay, so when we get very engrossed into the conversation, it doesn't move forward, then I think it's better to just separate and like do our own things for a bit and just like relax and then come back. Right?
Yeah.
Because for me, when I'm upset or like when I'm annoyed by something and I don't really know what I want to say, very often, like in the past, I've said stuff that was like kind of hurtful, but it's never like intended to be that way. It's just me expressing it, but kind of going for a walk and then coming back or playing video games and then coming back will give me the time to re-clarify how to say something.
Right.
So that I don't say it in a way that is, I guess, damaging to the relationship, right? Like,
oh, that's so true.
I think the key thing is that I don't want to say anything that will hurt you unintentionally.
Yeah.
Sorry, or intentionally. I don't want to say it like in general.
Yeah, and I think that's a healthy way to look at it too, because when you're in a very heated situation, sometimes the best thing is to just take a moment, take a pause, and exit that atmosphere or that situation for maybe, I don't know, like half an hour to an hour. I agree, to recollect yourself, to reflect on how you are reacting and how the other person's reacting, and then come back with a much cooler head.
Yeah.
And I think the balance there is between emotion and logic, right? Those two can sometimes get very blurred when you're in the heat of the moment where emotions take over. And when emotions take over, it might not be the most logical thing to do or say when you're having an argument with someone you love.
Yeah. Which, like kind of going back to Fight Club, actually, the thought crossed my mind that the movie is really a conflict with society that people are dealing with by fighting, but then during their everyday job, they just go about their work. So it's like, it's not a conflict with another person.
Yeah.
They just have an issue with society or like their life as a whole. So they go there to like de-stress. And then as soon as like that border is crossed, they just move on and go back to everyday life and it's all normal again. Yeah.
I guess you need an outlet to also just release that anger and stress.
Yeah.
In
which is different for everyone.
Yeah, which is different for everyone, right?
Some
like you have different
exercise.
ways of coping. Yeah, some people exercise, some people take a nap, some people read, some people
scream out into the void in the back of the forest near your house.
Yeah.
I've done that once before in Abbotsford, yeah.
Specifically in Abbotsford.
I mean, surrounded by buildings. I'll just be, someone will probably yell out the window, be like, "Shut up!
Shut up!
We're trying to sleep here."
You were like, "Yell too."
All right, so where are we at? So take smart time out, listen and reflect. I mean, really, I feel like we've gone over the key things. There is like an interesting one that, this is a quote from a Harvard negotiation expert. And I did want to like read this out because it says, silence allows us to attempt to understand what's happening inside ourselves and for one another. And I think that what we were just talking about, separating and then coming back, is the greatest thing, right? Is that when you step away and you let yourself sit in silence, you let your brain to process what the conversation was about, what you actually want to say.
Yeah.
And then when you come back, it becomes easier. So I think being comfortable in silence, and when I say silence, I don't mean like literal silence. It's just you can listen to rock music, but your brain will be able to process. That's fine. Right. But hey, man, if a Harvard negotiation expert is saying this, then it might be credible.
No, I believe that. I think so too. It's like when the world feels overwhelming, you just need a moment to be by yourself and recollect, right? And when you recollect, then you're able to manage your emotions a bit better, and it just becomes a lot healthier and more of a productive conversation after.
Yeah. So
what is one of your favorite ways, like outside of the silence thing, that did I do that?
Just kidding. Sorry.
Allergies.
Yeah.
What is one of your favorite tactics that you think that we do in the way that we have conflict?
Mm-hmm.
Let me rephrase that. I don't know, like, if that question was phrased in a good way, but like, based on how we handle conflict, do you have a favorite way of the way that you or the two of us deal with it?
Like a favorite thing that we do?
Yeah.
You mean?
That's special to us. Because there's something in there that says use humor. That reminds me of you.
Food.
Food?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't get it.
Sometimes you get really upset when you're hungry, so it's nice to have a conversation after we eat. You know, like I'll never start a conversation that I think will make you really annoyed or upset before dinner.
Oh, okay. So
it's got to be either after dinner or after lunch, and we sit down. Yeah.
Okay, that's your favorite strategy that you do, because I don't notice it.
Oh yeah, that's what I try to do. I'm sure I don't do it all the time, and you know, this is to play on the joke that when people are hungry, it's just like they're upset.
Right.
So if you want to enter into a conversation where you might potentially get into something heated, let's just take away as many of the variables as possible, and hunger is one of them. Make sure they're really well hydrated. Make sure that they're not sick. Make sure that they're fed. Yeah. You know, give them a cup of tea. And then once they're done with the tea, then you drop the bomb on them. Be like, hey, by the way, I had a really big problem with the way the conversation went last night.
I don't know why that feels so triggering to me right now. I'm like, I'm so comfortable and happy. Why would you bring this up now?
Yeah, maybe that's a problem. I know something that you recommend is kind of scheduling it in like advance, being like, hey, we should talk about this.
Yes,
but
that's right.
We have to do it today. We'll do it tomorrow.
Something that we're still learning about each other is how we like to bring up topics of that could create conflict. And I had suggested that Elbert tell me in advance if he has something that he wants to talk to me about that would warrant like a deeper conversation and could result in some disagreements, because many reasons. One, like the example you just shared, has triggered me. Like, I need to be prepared in some aspects to know that there is an important conversation coming up, so that I can dedicate my time and my energy to that, to have a productive conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to get your counter arguments and ducks in a row before you go into any discussion.
Before you bring it up,
yeah,
so I can defend myself. But no, I think it's really important to be able to set aside time to be able to talk about the hard things and to have a productive conversation. Else you're just talking about stuff into the air and no one feels like they're being heard or satisfied. Or, in my opinion, what's worse is that you're bringing things up during periods of time where the other person's not prepared to have that kind of conversation.
Yeah.
And that creates an emotional response that leads to something that's unhealthy. Like,
right.
you end up feeling resentment or you get annoyed.
Yeah. And I appreciate that about the feedback you gave me regarding that specific point, because my habit was always to just bring it up, right?
Yeah.
Because in my mind, it's like, oh, like, I'll just bring it up on the side and then we can have a quick discussion on it. But a lot of the times it won't be a quick discussion.
Right.
And so I can see how that would be problematic, like when it's repeatedly done.
Yeah, like maybe don't bring it up when
annoying.
we're on like a 10-minute drive to see friends and you bring up like a really deep conversation.
No, you gotta bring your friends into that conversation. I'm just kidding, obviously. But anyway, after the conflict is done and you deal with it, and I think there's always that cool down period where you need to kind of de-stress, decompress, and then kind of get back into your own rhythm. So, like, what are some things that we do after we have a disagreement?
I'm just kidding. What?
What?
No, nothing. Well, one of my favorite things that you do is that you are a very loving person. You might not be the best with your words sometimes. You're actually really bad with your words.
I'll just have a pad that's just like, I love you.
But one thing that you're very good at is that Like, you don't hold resentment.
Oh, I can.
I know you can, but you don't. And after we have a heated argument with some time apart, you do tend to come back and you just give me a hug, or you'll just like tuck me into bed, or you give me a forehead kiss. And honestly, for me, that's all I need to break any sort of ice. And sometimes you've seen it too. Like when you do that, I just start crying because I'm just like, I don't like fighting. It makes me sad, and I can't go to sleep sad. And I tell Elbert this, like, do not, if you're in a relationship, do not go to sleep upset. Don't end the day off with anger or resentment or sadness. That's how I like to live my life.
As much as you can anyway. Sometimes it's unavoidable.
There you go. Trigger. Just listen to me.
Okay, yes. I'm sorry.
But yeah, as much as you can, try to end the day off with forgiveness, with joy, with gratefulness. Because we don't know how long we have on this earth, especially with each other. And if you're with someone that you love, I think that's something that you should be very grateful for. So that's something that I love that you do, is that no matter what conversation we have in the day, at the end of the day, you just give me a hug, and then we cuddle and go to sleep.
Yeah.
I
guess some people just go to sleep preparing for war the next day, right?
Or they sleep in separate rooms, and that actually breaks my heart so much.
I don't think sleeping in separate rooms is like a big issue, especially if you agree to it, or
No, I'm talking about after a conflict, like if he chooses to like.
Oh yeah, like if that's not the norm.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. I don't mean that that's a pre-setup. I just meant like, if you're so angry, you like leave the house and stay in a hotel or your friend's place. Yeah,
this is like a pre-configured sleeping arrangement. Like this cannot change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do I do that makes your heart warm?
I really appreciate that you actually give me a lot of space, because I'm definitely more of the, I need to decompress on my own type of like personality. So after we have a discussion, even if we come to an agreement, I'm just gonna go for a walk, or I'm gonna listen to music, or I'm just gonna, code or play video games, but it's got to be on my own.
Yeah.
Right. Like I just don't want to say anything.
Yeah.
Because my verbal count is just very, very low.
You're probably using up your entire verbal count right
Literally,
now.
after this, I won't say anything. We gotta go see my family, and then I'll just be like, hey, nice weather.
Actually, likewise. And I think that's where we're very similar. I actually do need to decompress by myself a lot. And so when you have that time,
you.
When your face just annoys me and I look at you, I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Hey, language.
I'm sorry. But no, I value that about you as well, because when you go and do your own thing to decompress, I do my own thing to decompress as well. And it makes things a bit more
decompressed.
Decompressed, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so less inflated is good. Wait. Anyway.
Your word count is dwindling.
Yeah, my brain is not turning anymore.
It's going too fast and you need to slow
I'm about to enter a conflict with myself.
Oh gosh. What happens then if you meet someone with a very different conflict strategy than you? And they won't change.
Oh. Well, I mean, you can probably still make it work. You'll just need to make sure that you recognize the way they resolve conflicts is different from yours, and just shift gears.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, totally like the way to go. Like, nobody's gonna be the same.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like a happy relationship or happy friendship, happy anything, even like a happy work relationship, is purely based on you being adaptive.
Right. Yeah.
So
finding like similarities amongst the chaos. Yeah. Or go to therapy. That's also something.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, like if you need someone to talk to and you just need like an outsider's perspective on like whether you're doing something well or not well, I think that's good.
Yeah. Therapy is healthy.
Yeah. I mean, it's always the, what do you call it? Self-acknowledgement. Is that a word?
Well, self-awareness, right?
Self-awareness that like you might need that like extra help is like, I think a lot of people may not get to that point naturally.
Yeah.
Which obviously is like hard, right? Like you don't want to go through life being like, oh, I might not be perfect.
Yeah.
Because you are. All right. Yeah. So I don't think we need a toasty take on this one.
I think our toasty take is pretty obvious. Yeah.
Talk better.
Talk better.
Be better. Listen better. Just be better.
Just be better. No excuse. Just be better. You have no choice. One thing I would like to do in a relationship, though, that we are trying to do, mainly because I'm the only one who remembers to do this, is that we set aside time to talk about if we're happy or not, like to do check-ins. I feel like we should start doing that. Maybe on a monthly basis, talk to your partner and pre-schedule time every single month, or maybe every single quarter. It's like a quarterly check-in. You laugh.
I send you a survey. We'll just do a quarterly survey.
We'll do a quarterly survey to see if you're happy, like rank your happiness on a scale of 1 to 10, and then provide me feedback, you know? And I think that's healthy, because if we do that repeatedly, you'll never have the opportunity to be resentful, because you'll always have to be forced to talk about how you feel.
I feel like we can just do this by like waking up and like, you good? You good? Yeah, we good?
No, that is the male brain thinking.
Okay, I just don't want to turn my life into another corporate how satisfied are you with your job like survey.
How satisfied are you in your relationship? I still think we need to do like a check-in. It could be a 15-minute check-in.
Let's benchmark, and then like let's bench it, and we'll come back to that conversation later.
No, we should do it. It's important.
Okay, but let's not do the conversation now about it. I'm saying let's bench it, and we'll come back to it later.
Fine. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are a baby growing. Oh wait, no, that sounds
we don't
like
have
I have a
babies.
baby. No, we don't. Let me just clarify. We have no baby, but we are a baby podcast that is growing and would love your support. So if you follow us on Spotify, leave a comment, maybe give us a star rating. That would be super, super grateful. We'd be so thankful for you. And you can also find us on TikTok and Instagram. So you can follow us over there.
My goal is to have like 100,000 one-star ratings.
That would really... Well, at least we would have 100,000.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much, you guys.
Bye.
See you in the next one. Bye.